Average Pat's Movie Reviews.
Hi everyone, Average Pat here to chat today about the movie Ford versus Ferrari. This movie stars Katrina Balfe, Christian Bale, Matt Damon, John Bernthal, Josh Lucas, Noah Jupe, I'm not sure to pronounce that properly, I apologize, Ray McKinnon, Wyatt Nash, Janelle McKee, and J.J. Field. It is the real life story of Henry Ford II deciding that he wanted to make Ford a bigger, well-known racing company and take on Ferrari head-on. It is incredibly well shot. The score is done well, and it's a true life story, which makes it even more fun. Matt Damon is cast as Carroll Shelby. Christian Bale is cast as the renowned race driver Ken Miles. Katrina Balfe is his wife Molly Miles. Noah plays his son Peter, and Tracy Letts plays Henry Ford II himself. Now, there are other people in this that are very big and important to the story. The most important one that I personally looked up to when I was younger was Lee Iacocca, who designed the Mustang, who saved Ford from a lot of trouble. Left Ford after a while, went to Chrysler, went to the government, bailed out Chrysler, paid them back. They had a 30-year loan, paid it back in 3.5 years, and saved Chrysler and redesigned some incredible cars, including the very first minivan he was responsible for. This shows him trying to push for the design of the Mustang to Henry Ford, and also trying to inspire Henry Ford to make Ford, instead of a more reliable old person's car, to make it more attractive to the younger generation, to the baby boomers who had more money, who had jobs, who had the desire to look better, faster, look cooler. And the whole point of this movie was to try to get to that younger generation and to appeal to them by having more luxurious cars that were sportier cars that were awesome to have when you're a younger person, instead of just an old reliable station wagon or an old reliable car. They wanted the flash. They wanted the Mustang type cars. They wanted the GT, which is very well documented in this. This is the creation of the GT, which was reknown as the GT40. Was actually recently redone by Ford and brought back to life as a regular civilian car, which was incredible. I don't think they still sell them. It was a very limited edition, but very neat to see again. The cinematography in this movie, for the cramped quarters of it being inside a GT40 and trying to capture what Christian Bale's character Ken Miles was going through, I think captures it very well. The cramped quarters are very well shown. He's in there hunched over. He's doing the best he can in the cramped quarters, driving as fast as he can, doing what he can. In every race car that he drives, the camera's set up right there in his face, so you know what he's going through, the agony, the ecstasy, whatever it may be. Just that whole personification of a driver going through the gears, seeing how the system works. It's amazing to see. Matt Damon cast as Carroll Shelby. Carroll Shelby is obviously well known for working with Ford and redesigning and improving on different types of vehicles. Modifications was the name of the game for Carroll Shelby. Shelby America did some really nice stuff, and the most probably well-known and world famous is the Shelby Cobras, which are the Mustangs that are souped up and are just gorgeous, and they're still made today. The packages they come in are just incredible. The speed, the power, the raw, just beauty of the vehicles are incredible. If you ever seen the Gone in 60 Seconds, Eleanor, the car that Nicolas Cage's character wants to steal, obviously is a Ford Shelby Cobra. They document this very well. It all takes place as it happens. Carroll Shelby was one of the first Americans to win the 24 hours race in Le Mans, France. It's shown in that. And he's, retires afterward and wants to do better with his cars. And he helps with his friend Ken Miles to redesign cars to make them better, to make them faster. Ken has an inherent ability to know exactly what's wrong, to know exactly how to tweak a car. He can feel everything in the car. He knows exactly what he wants to do, whether he wants to go faster, whether he wants to make it lighter, whether he wants a little bit more torque here, a little bit less tension here, a little bit of lift, a little bit of drag, whatever it may be. Carroll relies on him very heavily. When Ford decides to listen to Lee Iacocca and says, all right, let's make this, let's find the hell with whatever we can do, let's go take on Ferrari, let's beat Ferrari at their own game, let's race them out at Le Mans. He goes to Carroll Shelby and pitches the idea to Carroll, and Carroll says, fine, I want to have my crew on it, and notices that there's a lot of bureaucratic committee work and garbage that gets in the way. Without getting too detailed in all what that committee work and garbage that interfered with everything is, he gets to a moment where he finally talks to Henry himself and says, look, you either got to trust me and win, or let's not even bother doing this, because you can make a great car that always loses and it's not going to be worth what you want. It's not going to be the same thing. Let's do this the right way. And the story of how they got from point A to point B and made such a beautiful car that was able to run and challenge in the Le Mans. I won't tell you if they win or not. You'll have to watch the movie. It's amazing, and the story is very well documented. And there are some moments where you realize the sheer joy, the sheer zen moments of drivers having inside their vehicle while they're driving at high rates of speed that others of us would never be able to handle. 200-something miles an hour flying on some back road in Le Mans, France, is not a track. It's literally like a country road. It's only a couple miles long. Each lap is 3.5 minutes long. And they do it for 24 hours. I mean, it's just insane that this race still exists, and it does. The competition's still fast and fierce. But this was the 60s. This was when things were a lot more... People were more passionate about their cars, and more... They wanted to be able to flex with them. They wanted to be able to drive the beauty cars, the sexy cars, the high-speed cars, and they cared about racing a lot more. Now, of course, NASCAR is very popular here in our country. Formula One, to an extent, obviously the Indy 500 is huge, but that's really the only race that anybody knows about, Formula One. Honestly, you don't really hear about the 24 hours being covered on television or see footage of it. I know it is sometimes. I know they do clips and shows about it. Every once in a while, you'll see a little blurb on SportsCenter. Hey, so-and-so won the 24 Hours of Le Mans this year. Great. It doesn't have the same weight that it did back in the day. And sadly, I think that that's something that we need to learn from, because there is a joy, there is a zen moment. And I think this movie captures it very well. When you see Ken Miles' son, Peter, learning from his dad, this is where my marker is. I look for this one particular crack. How are you going to see that crack at over 100-something miles an hour? You know it's there. When you're driving that fast, everything slows down. You see everything. And that's the type of zen moment that I think people don't realize comes from racing. And I think this movie grasps that very well and shows it very well. And you can see it in Christian Bale's expression. He's a very expressive actor. Obviously, everybody is very familiar with the way he is. But he shows a lot of love for it and the passion he has for it. Matt Damon has it when he sits in his car. He's got a sports car. He's driving around everywhere, and he may be frustrated, maybe upset, maybe tired, whatever it was. He sits down, he turns an engine on, hears an engine roar, and you just see his eyes close, and his body relaxes, because that's where he feels best at home. That's his zen moment. That's his nirvana, is sitting in that race car with that engine roaring. And he feels that passion, the power behind it, and it helps calm his nerves. That's where he's supposed to be. And to see that personified perfectly like this, to see it expressly shown by the cinematography, the camera angles they use are incredible to keep up with them. I know I saw behind the scenes thing where they use a lot of drone footage for some of this, and it's seamless. You can't really tell, because some of the views would only be able to be gotten by drones, unfortunately. But they do it very well, and it comes out perfect. The movie's very enjoyable. Katrina Balfe's performance as Molly Miles is incredible. Her love and support for her husband, no matter what, always showing up at the right time to help him out, always being there to love him and support him and raise her son at the same time, and doing what she can to contribute to the family by working. It just shows the type of person that Ken had as a wife and the support system that he had for being a race car driver and somebody who was a little bit different, in his abilities. A lot of people said he was an ornery, cantankerous person who was really hard to get along with. Carroll Shelby loved him. He was a good friend of his. And, to be able to see the relationship that they had, even as silly as one scene, which is in the trailer of them fist fighting and Molly throwing down a chair and sitting down, because that's a good show to watch. It's going to be over soon. They're going to be best friends afterward. But to see it personified and actually done out on the screen was quite humorous and quite a powerful moment of the movie. And you realize just how much it actually means to the relationship of the guys as it does to the movie and how it moves along. This movie, in my opinion, is easily a 4.5 out of 5. There are some moments that are a little bit heavier than others. There are some moments where it's a little bit predictable, humorously, but a little bit predictable. I think they kind of improvised some of the scenes and made a little bit more dramatic interpretations of scenes, if you will. But it works for the movie. It's very well done. The characters are very well cast. And the overall cinematography and score for this are, in my opinion, second to none. They fit perfectly. And that's what makes a good movie, especially a good racing movie, because racing is not as popular as it used to be. But this one captured what the whole, we are Ford, we are American Motors, we're going to take on the Italians and beat them at their own game. And that whole persona of that 60s era of we're not going to go down without fighting was well captured. If you like this review or any of my reviews, please give me a like on Facebook. Click to subscribe on YouTube. Click on the little notification bell. That way you know whenever I post a new review up. And I look forward to giving you any kind of response to any comments you have. Comments, questions, suggestions, feel free to send them my way. I look forward to them. Thanks a lot. Have a great night, guys.